So what happens when you neglect a chainsaw for a long time? Well, I guess it really depends on how it was neglected, but in my opinion, zero care counts as neglect. This one was forgotten in a barn, but now that it's been found, they want it working again. And as you might have guessed, that's going to be easier said than done. But I just hope you're ready for all the work that you're going to have to do. In today's video, we're going to be looking at this Stihl chainsaw. And the problem is that it was left unused for a long time and now it won't start. Now I know this chainsaw looks to be too clean to have been left unused in a barn, but that's because we already cleaned it. It wasn't necessary to do that, but it makes it much nicer to work on. Now the first thing that we need to do after getting it cleaned up was to inspect its condition. And fortunately, it's in great condition other than a chain that could use a sharpening or replacing. So if you've never heard your machine start and run before, it might be a good idea to see if the engine is worn out. You can either use a compression tester or you can eyeball it by slowly pulling on the rope and seeing how difficult it is to pull. Now this one is fighting back well enough that we won't need to use a tester to find out. Next, we want to try and start the engine after putting some fresh fuel into the tank. This fuel has been stabilized and has no ethanol in it, which is cheap insurance when compared to taking it to the repair shop. Now don't tell anyone, but I am going to cheat by priming the carb with some fuel. Now doing it this way will help to get fuel into the system without struggling too much. So it started and ran, but that's with priming it. Now let's try doing it the way you're supposed to do and see what happens. Well, the good news is that it did try and start, but it won't do much more than that. So at the moment, I do believe the carb is the problem and we'll need to take it off for an inspection. So unfortunately on this model Stihl chainsaw, taking off the carb can be a bit tricky, and if you're not careful, you can damage something. So this is my way of taking the carb off, but you might figure out a better way of doing it. So I do have to admit it, but dealing with only one fuel line is a whole lot nicer than having to bother with a more complex system. However, not having a purge bulb is a trade-off when it comes to trying to start it when the engine is cold. It means you'll have to devote several pulls just to get fuel into the carb before it even tries to start. And that's the reason why I chose to prime the carb when we did our test start. So after working the choke and throttle linkages off the carb, we can finally slide it off the studs. Now looking at the carb, what you'll notice first is that there are no fuel adjustment screws whatsoever. That means when the metering diaphragm starts to harden up, there's no way to compensate for it. That diaphragm is supposed to help control fuel flow through the carb, and if it starts to harden up, the flow might be reduced and cause problems. Unfortunately, this plate is stuck to the diaphragm, meaning we'll have to try to pry it off without damaging it. So I almost broke the gasket, which is not what you want to do, but it did come loose. Next, we'll work the gasket and diaphragm off the carb, and what we find is interesting. So what you're looking at is old stale fuel, but the strange part is that it hasn't turned gummy just yet. However, another year like this might have been enough to turn this stale fuel into a sticky gummy mess and making this cleanup job a whole lot more difficult. Now because of all the old stale fuel inside the carb, I think taking out the needle and rocker arm is a good idea. Just be aware that these tiny parts are extremely easy to lose, and if you do lose them, trying to find them will be tough. I'm also going to take out the small jet just to make sure it's clear, which it is. But it might be a good idea to run a wire through it to be sure. So next, we'll take off the plate over the pumping section, and what we find is the same old stale fuel here as well. The next job is to try and clean off all that old fuel, making sure that all the passages are clear as well. And after that's done, we want to make sure that our cleaner can pass through the inlet screen. And if it can't do that, you'll need to clean it until your cleaner or some fuel can pass through it. Next, we want to turn our attention to that diaphragm, and this one is showing signs of some hardening along with some deformations. I know it looks like it's still flexible, however, if you compare it to a brand new one, you realize there's a big difference. But if you think your diaphragm is still usable, then give it a try. However, if the engine won't stay idling, you might need to replace the diaphragm. And once the carb is clean as you can get it, we'll then start to put it back together. Once again, be very cautious when trying to put these tiny parts back into the carb. But to be honest, if you're not wanting to try this on your own, then I'd recommend just replacing the carb instead. Now this kind of detailed work might be more than what consumers will want to tackle, and it's understandable. So if you want to save yourself from this headache and you've got 15 bucks laying around for a new carb, then I would just tell you to buy a new aftermarket carb instead. Now you can buy an original Stihl carb if you want to, just don't be surprised by the asking price. But if you do plan on just replacing the old carb, there's no harm in opening it up and seeing just how bad it is. And once the carb is back together, we can now install it onto the machine. I do have to let you know that putting it back on is a lot harder than taking it off, but you can make this part of the project a whole lot easier by filming the disassembly process and using the footage to help out. Otherwise, look at videos on this or other platforms to see how they did it. Once again, if you can't see yourself doing this kind of repair, your choices are to take it to the repair shop, or you can just go out and buy another machine, which is what a lot of consumers do. So it is unfortunate, but there's an order of operations when it comes to putting this carb back on. And I'm sure there's more than one way of doing this, but this is the way I'm choosing to do it. Also, be extremely careful when it comes to the ground wire for the on-off switch. I have messed this part up before and didn't realize it until I had to turn off the machine and it wouldn't shut off. So we're almost done. The last things we need to do is to put the air box back on, replace the cover, and then add our fuel to the tank. Also, don't worry, I did put some bar oil into its tank as well. I'm also choosing not to prime it, but instead opting to pull the rope until it tries to start. This is when things can go wrong because this will increase the chances of the engine flooding and not starting. So the idle speed is much too high, causing the chain to keep moving. So I shut off the engine to show you just how tough it's going to be to adjust the idle speed. This tiny opening in the handle is where you want to put your flathead screwdriver to turn the screw on the side of the carb. Now doing this can be really tricky for some because you're doing this blind. I'll just give it a small turn and see if that'll be enough, which I'll tell you right now, it wasn't. I really do have to apologize, I forgot just how dull that chain was. And I thought I was going to do a whole lot better than that, but I was wrong. Also, the chain came loose and now needs to be tightened as well. But at least we know the oiler is working, although I'm used to seeing a lot more oil than this. So I will try and sharpen the chain, but if you know, I'm not really good at it. So I would recommend replacing it, but I'll leave that up to the owner to decide on. Now luckily for us, the carb seems to be working just as it should, and that's because, like I mentioned earlier, these carbs cannot be adjusted. So if the engine was lacking fuel because the carb was having problems, you can certainly try and clean it again. But depending on the condition of the carb, it may not be possible to save it and a replacement might be needed. So my question is, have you ever left a chainsaw unused for a long time? And if so, whatever happened to it? Thank you for watching. I really do appreciate your time here. Please feel free to ask me any questions about this project or about your own projects, and I hope to see you in the next video.